Here we are now in solving quadratic equation by factoring. So, how to solve quadratic equation by factoring? Let's proceed to the steps. First, we have to factor incomplete quadratic equation. So, when we say incomplete quadratic equation, there is no C or there is no B. So, remember the quadratic equation in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So, when we say factoring incomplete quadratic equation, that means there is no B or there is no C, incomplete, but still it's a quadratic equation. So how can we do that? So let's have some steps. So we have the steps. First, rewrite the given equation in standard form. That is the first thing that you're gonna need to do. Rewrite the equation in standard form. Second, get the common term in each term. Okay? And lastly, we have to apply zero product property by equating each factor to 0. Now, question, sir, I don't get those steps. Well, if you don't get the steps, just familiarize the steps and we will apply them so that you can have a better understanding how to apply those steps. So let's have a real example. Example number 1, we have 2x squared minus 4x. So as we can see in here, there is no C in our equation. But still, we want to apply our steps. First step, again, we want to rewrite the given equation in standard form. As we can see in the given, it's not in standard form, so we will transform it into standard form. So what are we gonna need to do? What are we gonna need to do is to transfer negative 4x to your left side. And again, when you transfer, the sign will change. Now, question, sir, what is my clue? What side to transfer? Is it 2x squared? I will transfer, or is it negative 4x? So, here is the clue. Here is the clue. What side, what number you will transfer? The clue is x squared. Look at the x squared. If the x squared is positive, do not transfer that one. Okay? That means transfer the opposite side of x squared. So, in here, in this given, the opposite side is negative 4x. Since the x squared in this given is positive, so that means we will not transfer x squared, we will let it stay there, but we will transfer the other side. Negative 4x transfer to the side of x squared. Now, what if the x squared is negative? If the x squared is negative, that's the time that you will transfer the x squared and all the terms in that side. That is your clue. What side to transfer? Okay? Your x squared. Remember your x squared. If it is positive, do not transfer, but transfer the other side. If your x squared is negative, that's the time you transfer the x squared. Now, this will happen. We have 2x squared plus 4x is equal to 0. Now, second step, get the common term in each term. So, how to do that? Well, as you can see, we have the standard form of the equation, 2x squared plus 4x is equal to 0. What will happen to that is expand. When we say expand, separate individually the expression. Let's have 2x squared first. So separate 2, separate the x. Since x squared, when we say x squared, that means there are 2x. Okay, so this will happen. Okay, there. 2 times x times another x. And then plus, copy the plus, copy the symbol. If it is minus, then copy the minus. Then separate also the 4x. Now, sir, what happened to 4? Where is 4 now? It becomes 2. Yes, it becomes 2 times 2 because in this case, since 4 is factorable, we want to factor 4. Okay, so what is your clue? What factor you will use? Because there are 2 factors. We have 2 times 2 equals 4, and another factor is 4 times 1 is 4. So, between the two, which one you will use? 2 times 2 or 4 times 1? Well, look at beside x squared. Look at the number, the smaller number. The smaller number is 2. Okay? The smaller number is 2. So, that means in the bigger number, which is 4, you must factor 4 such that one number has 2 also. Okay? In this case, since 4 times 1, there is no 2, so we will disregard that factor. And we will use the factor 2 times 2 so that we can get the common. Now, we have the common. We have 2x and then we have also 2x. That's the common term. And equate it to 0. Now, after you equate it to 0, after you expand, get the common. This will happen. What will happen is the common 2x, write it once. 2x, write it once, as you can see in the figure, and then put it outside the parentheses. Okay, write the common, put it outside the parentheses, and inside the parentheses is the remaining term, the term that is not common. So as you can see, it is highlighted in color white. So the term that is not common is x plus 2. So just copy that one, enclose in parentheses. That term will be inside the parentheses. And then copy, equate it to 0. So that will be your factor. Now, the last step is to apply zero product property by equating its factor to 0. Okay, so how to do that? Well, let's proceed to the practical example. So, what will you do is, you have 2x times, parentheses, that means times, and then x plus 2 is equal to 0. So as you can see, I highlighted yellow for 2x. I highlighted color blue to x plus 2. That means 2x is another factor and x plus 2 is another factor. So we will equate it to 0, each factor. So let's start with the one outside, 2x. Equate it to 0. 2x is equal to 0. Then solve for x. Simplify. So, as you can see, 2x is equal to 0. So, there is a number beside x. 2x. So, how to eliminate that number 2x? Just simply divide it by itself. And also, divide also the other side, which is 0. So, 2 divided by 2 is equal to 0 divided by 2. So, the answer is cancel the 2 divided by 2. So, what will remain is x, and 0 divided by 2 is 0. So, that means the value of your x is 0. Okay, that is the first value. Now, let's proceed to the second value, which is the second factor, x plus 2. So, here is the solution. X plus 2. So, what will you do? See, transfer 2 to the other side, and that will become minus or negative 2. So, very easy. That will be your second value of x. So, x is equal to 0 and x is equal to negative 2. So, that is how to solve quadratic equation by factoring. Very easy. Just simply follow the 3 steps. Now, let's proceed to example number 2. Example number 2, we have x squared is equal to negative 2x. Now, let's proceed to the first step. Rewrite the given equation in standard form. So, as you can see, in the given is not in standard form. So what will we do is we need to rewrite it in standard form. Again, what is your clue? Your clue is your x squared. If your x squared is positive, do not transfer x squared, but transfer the other side. But if your x squared is negative, x squared will be transferred to the other side. Okay, so we have the answer. X squared plus 2x is equal to 0. Okay, next, let's proceed to the second step. Get the common term in each term. So as I said earlier, you need to expand and get the common. So separate individually by parentheses. So this is what will happen. X squared, that means there are 2x. So you separate the x. X and x plus, you separate the 2 and x. So what is the common? Get the common. The common there is x and x. Okay, so the common will be put outside the parentheses, and the one inside is the term that is not common. So x plus 2. And then that will be your factor. And then we can proceed now to step number 3. Apply zero product property by equating each factor to 0. So we have x. That is the first factor. And the second is x plus 2 is equal to 0. So solve for the first one outside the parentheses. Okay, x is equal to 0. Very easy. And solve for the second factor, x plus 2. Then transfer 2 to the other side. So the value of x is negative 2. So very easy, right? Let's proceed now to example number 3. As we can see, we have negative 12x squared equals negative 3x. Again, negative 12x squared equals negative 3x. So, first step again, rewrite the given equation in standard form. So, as we can see, what is your clue? What side to transfer? Your clue is your x squared. If your x squared is positive, do not transfer x squared. But if your x squared is negative, transfer negative x squared, so that it will become positive. Okay, so in this case, example number 3, our x squared is negative. Transfer negative 12x squared to the other side so that it will become positive. So this will happen. 12x squared minus 3x equals 0. So now let's proceed to example number 2. So let's proceed to step number 2. We have to factor. We have to get the common term in each term. So again, what I have told you, separate. And then your clue in separating is the smaller number. The smaller number here is 3. So this will be your separation. What is the factor of 12 such that one number is 3 will be the same with the smaller number? So that will be 4 times 3. So you have there 4 times 3 times x, x squared, and then separate the 3x. Again, the common will be put outside parentheses. So this will happen. 3x, you put it outside the parentheses, and then the 4 and x combine together, then copy the minus, and then what will happen here in 3x, since nothing is left in 3x because you put it outside, just automatic put 1 there. Once you get the common and nothing is left in there, just automatic 1, imaginary 1, because any number multiplied to 1 is by itself. So if you will multiply 3x times 4, that will go back to the given in step number 1, 12x squared, and then 3x times 1 will go back to 3x. So we'll go back to our step step number 1. That's the idea. If when you multiply the answer is wrong, for sure your factor is wrong also. So that is the factor. Now let's proceed to step number 3. So we have apply zero product property by equating each factor to 0. So the first factor is 3x and the second is 4x minus 1. So 3x is equal to 0. So again, divide it by itself to eliminate the number beside the variable. So what is the number beside the variable? Just simply divide it by itself. So 3 divided by 3 and 0 divided by 3. The answer is x is equal to 0. So if the number is 4x, then divide it by 4. 4 divided by 4, 0 divided by 4. It's like that. Whatever the number, divide it by itself. Second factor is 4x minus 1. So put 1 to the other side. That will be 4x is equal to 1. And then since there is a number beside the variable, you always need to eliminate the number beside the variable x so that you can find the value of x. So 4 divided by 4 and then 1 divided by 4. So cancel. X is equal to 1/4. So that is your second value of x. X is equal to 0 for the first value and the second value is x is equal to 1/4. Now let's proceed to our fourth example. 8x is equal to negative 20x squared. Again, 8x is equal to negative 2x squared. So let's proceed to the first example. First, rewrite the given equation in standard form. So this will happen. Again, what is your clue? What side to transfer? Your x squared. If your x squared is positive, do not transfer. If your x squared is negative, transfer the x squared. So in this case, we will transfer negative 20x squared so that it will become positive. So this will happen. 20x squared plus 8x is equal to 0. Second step, get the common term in each term. So again, what I have told you, always go for the smaller number. Find the factor, but here we have 20 and 8. That means 20 can be factorable. 8 can be factorable also. So we will get the LCD, least common denominator. So what is the LCD between 20 and 8? And that should be our factor. So we have the answer. The least common denominator is 4. So that means 20 will be, the factor of 20 is that one number has 4. That will be 5 times 4. And then for 8, the LCD is 4 also. So one factor of 8 must be 4 also. So that means 2 times 4. So you have the factor. This is, you expand, you separate in the parentheses. Get the common. The common here is 4x. So the common, put it outside the parentheses, and the one inside will be the terms that are not common. That will be 5x plus 2. You are just combining them together. Then, apply the third step. Apply zero product property by equating each factor to 0. Then, we have the answer. 4x, 5x plus 2. So, 4x is the first factor and the second factor is 5x plus 2. So, we'll solve 4x first. 4 divided by 4, 0 divided by 4, x is equal to 0. Then, for 5x plus 2, 5x plus 2, we have transferred 2 to the other side, that is plus, so it will become negative 2. 5x is equal to negative 2, then divide it by 5 to eliminate the number beside x. You need to do that always. If there is a number beside x, always eliminate. So, divide it by itself. 5 divided by 5, then negative 2 divided by 5. So, the answer is x is equal to negative 2/5. That will be the values of your x.